Good evening, everybody. Like mentioned, my name's Tony Farah. You don't mind if I stand up and talk. I just feel a bit awkward sitting down. So I think just to a brief intro, I think the way that the financial wellness is really run, it's based on broad financial wellness in a summarized version. So what that means, if I have to stand up here and talk about financial wellness, it's probably going to take me 2 hours to drill into each aspect. So the idea is really just to give a brief overview and then field any questions. So I'm not going to expand on a lot of the topics. It's just really to give you an overview on the way financial wellness should run. Because there is distinct steps on what you need to look out for and how does it fit into your overall financial planning. And if you're an employer, with your employees. How do your employees manage their financial wellness? Because we were having a chat about this in the meeting room before, and all of these things overlap. The minute somebody is in a scenario where they're feeling financially unwell, what happens, they get stressed, it leads into your mental unwellness and also leads to physical unwellness. So that's kind of how they're all fitting together and trying to tick off all those boxes. So without spending too much time on it, I'm just going to move over. Oh, there we go. So, these are just some headlines that you often see going back right through to, 20 years ago. You see South Africans are drowning in debt. They're not making enough financial decisions that help them for the future. They struggle with debt management. Debt counseling has become a big thing more and more. How do you manage that financial aspect of your life? Even your employees, how does it fit into your everyday living? How does it fit into your work? How does it fit into your children, your family? Financial wellness is not just about you and your partner. A lot of people think it stops when you and your partner get together and you discuss your finances. You've got to include children into that. And you'll see as we go through it later on, why do I mention children? Because a lot of people spend on children without realizing that where their money is going on children. You buy data every month for your child without realizing the expenses. You're giving them maybe food for school, in terms of buying food from school. There's sporting activities. A lot of it doesn't get taken into budgeting. All of a sudden, you get to the end of the month and your budget's gone way out of sync. It's things you haven't really planned for. So children need to be included into that budgeting technique. If you look at what is financial wellness, over the last 25 years of teaching people financial wellness, I often get people tell me financial wellness is having a lot of money. Okay, rich people are always financially well. That's not the case. Financial wellness, if you read on the slide, I'm not going to read it to you because I'm going to give you my own wording, but it's really about you having a balance. And what is that balance? It's a balance between your income and what are you spending it on. And not being obsessed with over-saving that you don't enjoy your life. That's why you need to have the balance. So that balance is you get into a plan where you're saving what you need to save, you're spending what you need to save, and you still keep aside what we call those experiences in life, going on holiday, spending things that make you happy. That's why it's a balance. And how do you know when you're financially well? When you look at that bottom point, it's not about having a lot of money, but it's when you feel in control with what your income and expenses are. So psychologically, you're in a balanced state of mind. And that is where a lot of us need to strive to get. So having that balance between your income and your expenditure and your saving. The minute you get control of that, you start feeling at ease and you know where your money is going every month and what you need to work towards. So I've come across a lot of people where they just save, and then they don't enjoy their life. That's not the point of financial wellness. Okay, it's about really having that psychological balance. And that is the key thing. Okay, a lot of us get that as an unbalance, if that's a word, okay, or an imbalance. So you either spend too much or you save too much. Okay, so the next one is, what is financial wellness? How do you get it under control? Okay, and there's a couple of things that you look out for. So, the most important thing is, how do you manage financial wellness? What are the causes of financial unwellness? You need to understand, how do people get into a financially unwell position? Okay, and it's very simple if you just stop and think about it in everyday life. Okay, it's a desire to have more and buy now. So you always want bigger and better. Okay, that's what society starts pushing us towards. Social media, all the car adverts, the holidays, buying things on credit. That is a desire to want more and more in your everyday life. Okay, it's coping mechanisms, gambling, drinking, drug abuse. Those are the number one leaders of leading to financial unwellness. The minute you get hooked on those type of things, you start becoming more obsessed with what you need to spend on and keeping your habits rather than focusing on your financial planning scenarios. Okay, so if you understand and manage the path to financial wellness, it puts you on that right track. Now, what is a path to financial wellness? There's 7 distinct steps on how you get to be a financially well individual. Okay, Some of those steps are things like creating a well-developed budget. Now, what is a well-developed budget? It's not about sitting there 20 minutes quickly writing up a budget and you always tend to round up or down on how you see your spending patterns. So when you don't want to spend a lot on alcohol, you round down. When you don't want to say that you spend a lot on smoking, you round down. When it's your savings, you tend to round up. That's not a budget. Your budget shouldn't take you 20 minutes. It should take you 2 to 3 months to develop. There's a lot of budgeting tools out there and different apps that you can use. Now, why do we say 2 to 3 months? You get a spending pattern. You start getting the exact idea on what you're spending on alcohol, cigarettes, children, groceries, petrol. Groceries is often one that when I look at people's budgets and I help them, I get amused with that because they'll budget a figure and I say to them, is this everything you spend at the shop? And they say yes. And I say, okay, every time you put petrol, for example, do you buy a Bolton, do you buy a packet of chips, do you buy a Coke, do you buy cigarettes? That easily equates to 1,000, 2,000 rand a month that they haven't budgeted for. Okay, buying children data. My daughter does it with me. She thinks I'm NTN or Vodacom. Sends me a message, I need data. What do? Send her 90 rand data, and before you know it, it's 90 rand a month. You get to the end of the month, times 2 children, it's 1,000 rand on data. You haven't budgeted for it. Okay? That's just one simple thing. The other things are, how do you then get onto the path of wellness? Okay? It's understanding the 6 pillars of financial planning. Okay? Because there is 6 distinct pillars, and any qualified advisor will take you through those pillars. You know, there's things like creating a budget. There's things like risk management. That's your life policies, disability, dread disease policies. Insurance policies, your household, your car. Investment savings. Savings for long-term, for retirement, and for emergencies. Your everyday savings. There's retirement planning. There's estate planning. Now, if you neglect any one of those, it puts you on a path of financial unwellness. Now, why do we say that? I'll give you little examples on what I mean by that. So the first thing is when people run into financial difficulty, what do? They cut down on their car insurance, or they cancel life policies, or their retirement annuities, or they get rid of their investments. Okay, they try and squeeze down their car value so they save on premiums just to be able to make do every month. Now then you have a car accident, there's a big shortfall with the bank. Or you buy a car on residual, you've got a shortfall. Then you've got to roll over the debt, get into more of debt than what you were before. You cancel life insurance policies. If you get disabled, who's going to look after you? You cancel your life policies. That's a detriment effect onto your family. Okay, you don't plan accordingly in terms of tax structures. Okay, more knock-on effects. Your estate planning, you don't do a will. You don't have sufficient estate planning. Your estate's not liquid enough. What happens if you die? Your family runs into tax problems. Okay, to wind up your estate becomes costly. You've got executive fees. You may have estate duty. All of those things need to be an overall package when you're planning for financial wellness. It's not just about having a lot of money and getting that balance, but it's about everything as a holistic plan and a solution you're bringing yourself forward into together with your family. Because it affects your beneficiaries, your children, your partners, everybody that's involved with your finances have got an effect in terms of financial wellness. So you can really see it's not just about understanding your money. It's got far-reaching effects on every other component in your life when you manage your finances properly. And I think the last part there is understanding financial products. You know, you could tick off all of the boxes, but if you don't understand your financial products that you get into, that can knock you back in a big way if you just don't understand simple things like what is a residual, what is top-up cover, what are credit shortfalls, you know, what are your company benefits. If you've got a pension fund at your company, what does that offer you? You know, where you invested, what are the cost components? What is better to look at saving for retirement annuities or pension plans? Because 1% savings on their cost can make you feel financially well when you retire, because it can boost your retirement value. So it's not just the things that you don't see every day. It's even hidden things in what we call opportunity cost. Your retirement funds, your short-term policies, your RAs, your investment schemes, all those things, understanding the underlying cost structures, erodes your value at the end. Because every 1% you save boosts your retirement value, boosts your maturity value on your investment schemes. So financial understanding of products is crucial. Okay, when I do these sessions with employees, because a lot of companies appoint us when we do financial wellness sessions with staff, and I always say, who can tell me what a residual is? You'll be surprised how many individuals don't understand 100% what a residual works like. Okay, car dealerships love it. They roll it over at the end of the term, you get stuck into another car, they add the residual on there, and you just keep on financing the same car over and over and over. okay? Because it's a very complex structure if you don't understand how it works, okay? So that is really the idea behind that. So I think if you look at some of the things that we just like to leave and close up with, never spend your money before you have it. Okay, I often again see people, I'm getting an increase in 2 months' time, they're already planning to buy a new car. Okay, I'm getting a bonus, they want to go on holiday, even though they might spend the next 6 months paying off that holiday because their bonus only covers one component of that holiday. You know, just because you can afford something doesn't mean you should buy it. Okay, that to me is an important one. So when you walk into a car dealer shop, you look at the normal stock standard car and you see top of the range and you automatically want that car and you think, I can afford it, it doesn't matter. There's an opportunity cost on that money could be grain for you somewhere else. So that is quite a key thing. Remember that balance. It all talks to the balance between having something that you really want, okay, or compared to something that you need. Okay, and then if you look at wise people, they have money in their heads and not in their hearts. So in other words, what we're doing there is separating your intellectual side from your emotional side. Okay? Treat money as an intellectual property, not as an emotional property. Okay? And that will help you distinguish between your desires, your wants, and your needs. Okay? And finally, I think to end off with, it's very simple. Okay? You need to plan effectively, be disciplined, and at the end of the day, don't blame banks, car dealerships, real estate agents, the salesman at the shop, but you just got to blame yourself and be accountable. And I think that is a message that we need to try and give employees and give ourselves out there and your children. The younger you start financial wellness and planning with children, the better you create in habits when they reach an age where they start understanding what working is about. Because those habits can be introduced at a very young age. You can do a very simple technique with your children, teaching them the beauty of budgeting, the beauty of financial products. They start thinking that way. By the time they're adults, they already got that under control. Okay, and that's really the story for me. So thank you for your time. I try to keep it very short and to the point.